Worldviews. What is a worldview? This is sort of a catchy phrase now, worldview. What is your worldview? Worldviews, what are they? Basically, it's how you view the world. How do you think about life? How do you think about things? There are really 5 categories of worldviews, according to John Nash, who was my professor at Reformed Theological Seminary. One of them, the first category is God. God is category 1. Now, we, of course, as Christians, would see God as through a theistic worldview. We see our God, our Christian God. But believe it or not, everyone has a God. So we as Christians see God. When I say God to you, you would think of the Christian God. Some people may not. It may not be an actual God. Some, to them, their God is money. Some of them, their God is success. Sometimes their God is family. Sometimes their God is, just their own being or their own self. So God is a worldview, but it can come in many forms. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Christian God. Another category of a worldview is ultimate reality. How do you understand the natural order of the world? What are the causes of things? What are the consequences of things? Does the universe have a purpose? These sort of things are very important. What is the purpose of the universe? You might want to watch clips. It's the movie that just came to my mind. It's a movie with Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix. It's called Signs. It was actually supposed to be a scary movie. And in the movie, Mel Gibson asks Joaquin Phoenix if he's this guy that thinks everything has a purpose. He's really asking about his worldview. You can probably Google this part in the movie. 2002, I think it was. The movie's called Signs. It's got Mel Gibson in it. And Mel Gibson very seriously asks Joaquin Phoenix's character if he's a person who believes the world has a purpose or if he believes things happen by accident. And so really this entire movie is about whether things have a purpose or not. Joaquin Phoenix's somewhat famous answer is that once he was kissing a girl and he turned around to do something and she got sick. And he said it had to be a miracle because 5 seconds later, I would have gotten vomit on me. And he said I could have been scarred for life. So he believes in miracles. He believes that there's an ultimate reality. Some people do not believe in an ultimate reality. Again, we as Christians, we believe God has created the world and it has an order to it. So that's category 2. So the first one is God. The second one is, what is your ultimate reality? What do you believe about the world? Does it have a purpose? Does it have an order? The third worldview is knowledge. What is truth and how do we find it? This is definitely going to be part of this first week's assignment. What is truth? So pure scientists would say truth only comes from science. We can only find truth in things that we can touch, feel, experiment on. If I can't see it in the laboratory, it's not real. This is knowledge. This is scientific naturalism. This is materialism. This is saying that we can only see things true in science. So we're going to be interacting with this along the way. Again, this idea of knowledge. What is your idea of knowledge? As a Christian, of course, we're going to believe that truth does exist, and we find this truth through the God of the Bible. This is our truth. But again, not everyone sees knowledge this way. Some people would say the only knowledge that's true knowledge is that through science. So again, 3 categories we've gone through: God, ultimate reality, and knowledge. The fourth is ethics. What are your moral judgments? Most everyone has these. This is going to be Mere Christianity's point. This is actually going to be Francis Collins' point, was how do we say, even little kids say, it's not fair. Well, how do we come to that? How do we decide what's fair and what's not fair? Some of you at the end of this class will come to me and say, I need these extra points. It's not fair. So what is this fair? What's the moral judgment? How do you determine what your moral judgment is? If you're not a Christian and you don't have the God of the Bible and you don't have these rules, how can you say to me what's fair? So each person has sort of their idea of what the moral judgment is, and it's called ethics. So we have God, ultimate reality, knowledge, and ethics. The fifth one is humankind. Do we have a free will? Now, of course, even within Christianity, we have people who believe we have more free will than others. But typically, we believe we are made in the image of God, imago Dei. We are made in God's image. And we have to be reconciled through Christ. So we believe, of course, that we are made in God's image and we are special. But again, Are we just, in some of the video clips and in some of the readings you might find, are we just genetic machines? Are we pre-programmed to do things? Again, like with the God spot. Do we really have no free will? Those of us who are Christians, we're actually genetically programmed for that. We have no free will. We're just biological beings. So this goes back to a worldview. So all 5 of those things really shape how you view the world. What kind of lenses are you looking through? Again, the 5 are God, ultimate reality, knowledge, ethics, and humankind. So this week I'm going to ask you a little bit about that in the reading. So I wanted to go over with you what a worldview is. Collins is going to talk about that in his book also. Some Christians do hold worldviews that are inconsistent with biblical truth, and you'll run into that a lot. It is tempting to look at our worldviews and develop them through cultural views. So we live in the Midwest. We have particular cultural views that we may confuse as a worldview. We have political views that we may confuse as a worldview. We have the beliefs of our parents, the beliefs of our friends, all those things. But really, being in college, especially now you're juniors, it's really a good idea for you to sort of have a set of worldviews to think about why you believe what you believe. We are probably going to look at other worldviews. We're going to talk about scientific naturalism, people who believe the only reality is science. The only way to know truth is science. The only thing we are is biological beings. So we're going to talk about that because I think that is dangerous. When we think about evolution, evolution is not dangerous. But when you take it to the level of scientific naturalism, everything is just an evolutionary trick, then it becomes a very dangerous thing to go from someone who believes in evolution to someone who believes there's no other purpose in life other than evolution. There's also materialism, humanism, secularism, some types of postmodernity. So we'll try and interact with those a little bit through the class. And that's really all I wanted to do in the first. I know it's probably longer than I originally promised. But I hope you enjoy the class. I'm really excited. If you have any questions or things you want to talk about, please let me know. You can email me or you can post things on the Facebook page. But just remember, everyone in the class can see it. So if you're going to post some really personal reason why you can't turn something in, you might want to email it to me and not post it on Facebook where everyone can see it. So I hope to see you on next week. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Bye.